ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to the premises of the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board, precisely the Museum of Science and Technology. We are here today to observe two activities. First, to observe the first International Day of Light, and secondly, to commemorate or to see the formal opening of Ghana's Museum of Light and Light-Based Technologies. This morning, to share the affairs of the day, he is the board chair of the Ghana Museums and Monument Board and the MD of Energy Synergies. He is a family man and a father of three. Ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, let us welcome Mr. Kwamiso, the chairman of the occasion.
Thank you very much for this morning's function. The Honorable Minister of Environment, Science and Technology and Innovation, the internationally acclaimed Dr. Frimpong Boateng, the Deputy Minister of Education, who is on her way here, the head and representative of the UNESCO Office to Ghana, His Excellency the Ambassador of the United Mexican States, His Excellency the Embassy of the Russian Federation, the team from Ghana Museums and Monuments Board, the President Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, Professor Wellington and members of the Museum of Light Planning Committee, heads of various institutions, ladies and gentlemen. May I once again welcome you respectfully to this event. I'm standing in on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Tourism and Creative Arts, who would have loved to be here, but unfortunately she's out of the jurisdiction and asked me to represent her. And I hope I'll be as energetic as she is, and as she would have loved to be with us here today. Many thanks to each of you for joining us this morning. I will share a few thoughts about why we are gathered here this morning, and then move on to the main program. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here essentially to mark the International Day of Light and Light-Based Technologies. Quoting from the UNESCO sources, the International Day of Light is a global initiative that provides a platform for a sustained appreciation of light and the role it plays in science, culture, arts, education, and sustainable development. Light also has a tremendous role to play in critical disciplines such as medicine, communication, and energy. The broad theme of light is to allow various sectors of society around the world to participate in activities that illustrate the workings of science, technology, arts and culture in the achievement of the goals of UNESCO, which are education, equality, and peace. This morning, ladies and gentlemen, we will also officially open the Museum of Light and Light-Based Technology, put together and curated by Professor Wellington from the University of Ghana, Professor Paul Bua Pasua from the University of Cape Coast, the team from UNESCO, the team from Ghana Museums and Monuments Board, as well as several volunteers. The Ministry of Tourism and Creative Arts, through its agency, the Ghana Museum and Monuments Board, is a host for this year's International Day of Light. With the support of the parent ministry, as the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Creative, Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, the Ghana Museum and Monument Board is currently undergoing restructuring to enable it effectively play its role as a vehicle for collecting objects and materials of cultural, religious, historical, scientific importance, such as the exhibition of light and light-based technologies we are about to see today and in the coming weeks. The Ghana Museum and Monuments Board, of which I happen to be the chairman for the past 6 months, has been working on a transformation agenda that will see the public institution become a more critical state institution of significance in the preservation, research, and quality exhibition to the public for the purposes of education, economic development, and recreation. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to highlight just 2 various activities we are working on and about to roll out at the Ghana Museum and Monuments Board. 1, we are working on a new collection policy that will allow the Ghana Museum and Monuments Board collect items from organizations and private individuals for exhibition in our museums. When this policy is finally rolled out, individuals and organizations will go through a simple criteria, pay a fee, hopefully a very small fee, and have their memorable items of significance displayed in our museums for exhibition, preservation, and public education. Another initiative we are working on, which we will roll out soon at the Ghana Museum and Monuments Board, is the provision of an international museum space, hopefully here in this particular premises, to enable countries with diplomatic missions in Ghana take up spaces in our facilities and have their scientific, cultural, and other relevant materials exhibited for cross-fertilization of ideas. This way, the student from a basic school in Adabraka, Chebi, Axim, or Choco to visit the German stand in our museum here in Ghana and learn about the history and growth stages of Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, BMW, and other scientific and technological inventions from other countries. Distinguished guests, moving forward, it is my firm belief that today's event will provide us a platform that enables us to appreciate the exhibition of light and light-based technologies and the role that plays in the lives of citizens from all over the world. With that said, I wish us all a fruitful and beneficial deliberations. Thank you very much.
We have Apostle Safo Senior High School. They are here. Give us a wave. Thank you and welcome. We have Ebenezer Senior High School. Are they here? Let's give me a hand. We have Mount Olivet Methodist School. Are they here? Yes. We have St. John's Preparatory Primary and JHS. Give us a hand. We have Achimota School. Achimota School. Are they here? Welcome. And Osu Presby Senior High School. Are they here? Yes. We have a lot more who will be joining us in the course of the day. So they are scheduled in such a way that we will have a lot of schools coming and visiting us throughout the period. You are all welcome. And on the high table, Madam, Mr. Chairman, we have from my extreme left, the Secretary General of the Ghana National Commission for UNESCO, Amasewa, Mrs. Amasewa Nebitete. After the Secretary General, we have the Chairman, we all know him. And after the Chairman, we have the Honorable Minister for Environment, Science, Technology, and Innovation, Professor Prepon Kwati. Prof, you're welcome. I'll jump the next speaker. Then we have the Chairman of the Planning Committee, Professor Wellington. We also have a member of the steering committee that saw to the realization of the Museum of Light. We have Professor Alfred Otinyegua. We also have Ghana's representative, or deputy permanent delegate to UNESCO. We also have in our midst a rep from Ministry of Culture, Ministry of, we call it MOTCA, Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts. Arts and Culture. Madam Olivia, you are welcome. We also have in our midst Her Excellency Maria de Alosdelis, Mexican Ambassador to Ghana and a friend of the museum. We also have in our midst the rep of the head of office of UNESCO in Ghana, Mr. Karamba. Today is a day dedicated to women in sciences. So we have 2 women scientists here. They've really done a lot in the area of science. We have a renowned woman physicist. She is in the person of Mrs. Abba Andam, Prof. We also have another woman here. Believe you me, she is over 90 years old, but very strong. No Nigerian, is that how they call it? She is in the person of Dr. Leticia Obin. Doc, you are welcome. We also have in our midst a gentleman we call the Einstein of Cape Coast. He's really worked so hard to defend the observation of today, 16th of May, as the International Day of Light. He is in the person of Professor Bua Paswa. And last but not least, we have a man who is known by all. He is from the Ghana Planetarium. He is in the person of Dr. Ashon. Rob, you are welcome. So, we move to the landlord or landlady. Landlady, please, we invite you here to address the garden who I'm introduced to you. She is in the person of Dr. Mrs. Gertrude Abba Eifa Mensa Didienyo. Madam, you are welcome.
The Minister of Tourism, Arts and Crafts, who is today represented by the Board Chairman of GMM. Honorable Catherine Afepu, who is again represented, as I said. Honorable Minister for Environment, Science and Technology, Professor Frimpong Boateng, Deputy Minister for Education, Honorable Barbara Aisha Esi, Her Excellency Maria de Los Angeles Aguri, Ambassador for Mexico to Ghana, representatives of the Head Office UNESCO Accra, Secretary General of National Commission for UNESCO, Mrs. Amasewa Nipe Tete, National Commission members, the President and members of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, the Planning Committee, the Chair and Planning Committee of this Museum of Light, members, Chair and then board members of GMMB, members present, various heads of institutions present, headmasters and headmistresses present, all protocol observed, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We are all gathered here today, blessed with the gift of life, to share in the opening of the first ever Museum of Light in Ghana, here at the Museum of Science and Technology, Accra. Distinguished guests here gathered, the journey to this day has been as eventful as it has been exciting. Permit me some latitude as your host to offer some perspective into our gathering on this occasion. The proclamation by the United Nations of the year 2015 as the International Year of Light and Light-Based Technologies was the culmination of a process initiated at the 190th section of the UNESCO Executive Board in an international partnership project involving the African Physical Society and the European Physical Society, the Mexican delegations at UNESCO, the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, and the Ghana National Commission for UNESCO. In May 2013, a proposition for an International Year of Light was put forth by UNESCO at the UN General Assembly, which received endorsement at its 68th section in November 2013. The declaration of 2015 as the International Year of Light was opportune as it fostered the harmonization of international activities and advancement of new enterprises to support the revolutionary potential of light technologies. Focusing on this theme, on the theme Harnessing Light and Light-Based Technologies for Africa's Development, Ghana hosted an international conference and exhibition to harness the potential of light and light-based technologies for the continent's development, and this led to the rest of Africa being celebrated. Upon the success of the worldwide celebration of the event, Ghana and other proponents, namely Mexico, New Zealand, Russian Federation, among others, moved for the sustenance of the momentum of the International Year of Light by presenting again this to UNESCO. During the 200th section of the Executive Board, the need to observe the 16th of May, which is today, every year as International Day of Light. The Museum of Light, whose opening we share in today, is a product of UNESCO through its participation program scheme, which provided funding for its establishment. This move is in a direct response to one of the 4 outcomes advocated at the end of the conference to make out the most of the benefits for celebration this day: the establishment of Museum of Light and Light-Based Technologies. As part of solutions to emerging needs in the post-2015 UN Development Agenda. At this point, with humble reverence, I invite all to observe a minute silence in memory and honor of the late Professor Francis K.A. Aloti, an illustrious son of our dear nation Ghana, who was leading the establishment of this museum. A minute of silence. Among other things, the establishment of this museum is to excite interest in the study of science among the youth in Ghana, and especially among the young girls and women, as we have been honored by the presence of two renowned women in sciences this morning. We, the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board, unequivocally share immensely in the vision of the Ghana National Commission for UNESCO, and we identify greatly with this cause. It is as a testimony to our unflinching support that the second floor of this building, the Museum of Science and Technology, is offered to host the Museum of Lights. Honorable Ministers present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today, on the occasion of the maiden International Day of Light, Wednesday, May 16, 2018, a day set to foster an annual focal point for the continued appreciation of the central role that light and light-based technologies play in the lives of the citizens of the world in areas of science, culture and arts, education, sustainable development, and in fields as diverse as medicine, communication, and energy. It is indeed an honor, a pleasure, and a privilege to welcome you all to this August occasion. Akwaba, Wezo, Henye, forgive me for my poor guy, to the radiance and splendor of Area Kokroko. You are most welcome. Enjoy yourself, enjoy the museum, and we are trusting that as you go, you send across the message and invite more and more people to come and see what light and light-based technologies are to us. Thank you very much for your presence.
Mr. Chairman, Honorable Minister present, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor to invite here Honorable Barbara Asha AC, Deputy Minister for Education, who is representing her boss, the Minister for Education and Chairman of the Ghana National Commission for UNESCO. She's coming to tell us how it happened. So, Madam, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, MC. Mr. Chairman, Minister of State, Honorable Members of Parliament, Representative of the Director General of UNESCO in Accra, development partners, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. Good morning to you all. Good morning. Yeah, it's a good morning. And I'm here representing the Honorable Minister, Dr. Matthew Kokupempe. I'm sure we are not here, but is engaged, attending to something really important. It is with my joy that I stand here to share this time as we are about to commission Ghana's first ever Museum of Light and Light-Based Technologies. Permit me, Mr. Chair, to share with you some historic facts about the yet to be commissioned museum, as well as the day we are all about to observe. The African Physical Society in 2011, under the then chairmanship of the late Professor Francis K. Alute, who was then the president of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, approached the Ghana National Commission for UNESCO to help draw the attention of the world on the need to promote the light sciences using UNESCO's platforms. This, the Commission saw as laudable because Ghana and Africa would harness the technologies associated with sciences, with light sciences, to reduce poverty amongst its citizenry. Subsequently, the National Commission then put together a team of Ghanaian scientists who have immense knowledge in physics and in light sciences. Under the leadership of Professor Paul Kingsley Basua of the Laser and Fiber Optics Center of the University of Cape Coast, an initial draft of the proposal was submitted to UNESCO. This was given tremendous support from other international physical societies and scientific organizations, as well as industries. Distinguished invited guests, the International Year of Light and Light-Based Technologies was proposed on the floor of UNESCO by Ghana, comprising Ghana National Commission for UNESCO, Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, African Physical Society, Mexico-Russia Federation, New Zealand delegations to the 190th session, and the UNESCO Executive Board. The proposal was overwhelmingly endorsed by the UNESCO Executive Board in November 2012. In November 2013, the 37th General Conference of UNESCO also endorsed the proposal of the Executive Board for its tabling at the 68th session of the United Nations General Assembly. Ladies and gentlemen, UNESCO later made a case for an International Year of Light at the United Nations General Assembly during its 68th session in December 2013 and was fully endorsed by UNESCO, by the United Nations. The proclamation of an International Year of Light was a tremendous opportunity to coordinate international activities and promote new initiatives to support the potential of light and its related technologies. Ghana led Africa to celebrate the event through numerous activities, including an African Regional Conference and exhibition at the Accra International Conference Center to harness the potential of light and light-based technologies for Africa's development in September 2015. After the conference, ladies and gentlemen, Ghana developed 4 activities that will pursue to maximize its benefits from its celebration. 1, to upgrade of the laser and fiber optic center at the University of Cape Coast into a full-fledged institute. 2, establishment of sub-regional laser medical application laboratory to train medical practitioners in laser applications in urology, dentistry, and general surgery. Establishment of a solar technology research center to enhance the study and promotion of solar science and the use of alternative energy. And last but not least, establishment of a Museum of Light and Light-Based Technologies, which we'll be adoring today. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, upon the success of the worldwide celebration of the event, Ghana and other proponents further moved for the sustenance of the momentum of the International Year of Light by presenting again to UNESCO during the 200th session of the Executive Board in 2016 the need to observe an International Day of Light on the 16th May every year starting from 2018. And we're excited about that. We are happy. It has also received worldwide support. And today, as we mark the first International Day of Light, the Day of Light is Ghana's project. And I hope that it will be religiously observed by the scientific community as a way of promoting the study of basic sciences, especially among girls and women. In actualizing one of the 4 outcomes of Ghana's celebration, the Ghana National Commission for UNESCO again sought for funding from UNESCO to establish a Museum of Light through its participation program scheme. Mr. Chairman, distinguished invited guests, permit me to extend appreciation to UNESCO for supporting the establishment of this museum, the second in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give UNESCO a big round of applause. I further wish to pay tribute to the late Professor Francis K.A. Alote, may his soul rest in perfect peace, who ably led this project until his demise. I wish to thank the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board for being the host of the facility by providing space and staff to man the museum. It is our hope that this museum will contribute to increasing the number of visits by Ghanaians and non-Ghanaians to our national museum. Further, permit me to express our sincere gratitude to the staff of the Secretariat of the Ghana National Commission for UNESCO, the Laser and Fiber Optics Center of the University of Cape Coast, particularly Professor Paul Kebua Baswa, the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, the Physics Department of the University of Ghana, particularly by Dr. Amos Kudicha, the Department of Archaeology and Heritage Studies of the University of Ghana, particularly Professor Dr. A. Harry N.A. Wellington, for chairing the planning committee which oversaw the establishment of this museum. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on this day, I wish to stand on behalf of the government to wish all of us a happy International Day of Life. Have a blissful day and a fruitful celebration. Thank you very much.
With a clap offering, receive the Palm Dance GH to give us a thrilling choreography at this moment.
We should look towards what? The light. So let there be light, and there was light. There was what? Creation. So light is life. That is the theme for the day, and light is what? The basis of creation. Let us give them a round of applause again.
For science, the Deputy Minister for Education, the representative of UNESCO, Professor H.N.A. Wellington, Chairman of the UNESCO Subcommittee, students from various senior high schools, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I bring you greetings from the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences. It is indeed a great pleasure and pride of the Council and Fellows of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences to be part of the 2018 celebration of the International Day of Light and Light Technology. I crave your indulgence, ladies and gentlemen, that we all rise from our seats to observe a minute's silence to the past president of the Academy, Professor Francis A. Alote, who was championing the cause of the country and the establishment of the Museum for Light and Light Technologies. Of Professor Francis K. Alote rest in eternal peace. Thank you, please, ladies and gentlemen. It is gratifying to hear, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that an entire floor of this edifice, that is the second floor of this museum, has been dedicated to the exhibition of light technologies. This is indeed laudable, but Honorable Minister for Science said, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is time, and I think the time is now, that as a country we take the Museum of Science much more seriously than on paper and mere words. It will be of interest to the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences if not only the second floor for the Museum of Light and Light Technologies, light-based technologies, but actually the entire museum is brought to good use and regular visits by students and the public. And indeed, scholarship is established at this museum, a great asset of the country. We hope that the opening up, the rehabilitation, and the prominent use of this museum will lead to the expansion of the study of science in our country. We know that the study of light is very much centralized in the discipline of physics. and young ladies and young men from the high schools, please debunk the idea that physics is difficult. Physics is difficult. Yes, every subject worth studying is difficult. If you want to be somebody, you will have to study. There is no subject on earth which, after you've chosen it, you go and put the textbook under your pillow, where the knowledge will transfer automatically from the book through your pillow into your head for exams. Every subject worth studying is difficult. And now it is again to the credit of the late Professor Francis Alote that the study of physics took root and prospered in Ghana. My chest is bursting full of pride for a group of ladies in red who have been here helping with the setting up of the exhibition since Monday. There is a group called Women in Physics, and from me, just one woman studying and qualifying with a Bachelor of Science Honors in Physics in 1974 at the University of Cape Coast. When we set up our WhatsApp platform, we had within 1 week more than 80 ladies who have qualified as physicists in our country. Please, Women in Physics Ghana, can you please show yourself to us? So, Mr. Minister, Madam Deputy Minister, Madam Ambassador, physics is difficult, like every subject worth studying. But physics is worth studying, and I invite you, young ladies and gentlemen from the high schools, to come and study physics, come and study science. There's plenty of opportunity for collaborative work out there in the world. They want Ghanaians to join these collaborations. We need you to help man the 2 nuclear power plants which were blasted on the front pages of the Daily Graphic yesterday. You saw yesterday an overjoyed and beaming Director General of the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission. Today, the Deputy Director General of the Nuclear Regulatory Authority is in the Daily Graphic saying that the Nuclear Regulatory Authority is ready to police any work that is done at the proposed Ghana's proposed nuclear power plants. So we have the people prepared. But Mr. Minister, Honorable, Madam Honorable Deputy Minister, she's away, but the message will get to her. We are far short of the more than 1,000 full-fledged scientists required to man these 2 nuclear power plants. Every up and going nuclear power plant needs at least 1,000 full-fledged qualified professionals. And Honorable Minister, this is one of the reasons why the Graduate School for Nuclear and Allied Sciences was set up at the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission. The University of Ghana has embraced this graduate school. Please, Honorable Minister, the time is now for the country to build the necessary human capacity to man our 2 proposed nuclear power plants. Yesterday, yesterday the news was that within 5 or 6 years. But in reality, from acceptance to commissioning takes 10 or 15 years. And Honorable Minister, please, the country should not stop and import human capital to man our nuclear power plants. The young Ghanaians are ready. The women in physics are ready. The men in physics are ready. The chemist graduates are ready. The engineering graduates are ready. Honorable Minister, please, the Ghanaian youth are ready to be trained to man our 2 proposed nuclear power plants. And please, Honorable Minister, the time is now for the Ghana government to support graduate training. That graduate studies, students in graduate studies will be given full support, including stipends to live by. Please, Honorable Minister, the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences is ready to receive these young people who are going to be supported by the Ghana government to train to PhD level. PhD is the end of the apprenticeship. The masters is good to be masters, but please, PhD is the end of the apprenticeship. And Mr. Minister, please, Mr. Honorable Minister, the government of Ghana must support graduate students to go up to PhD level to help our country. The Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences supports the Ghana Museum of Science fully. We wish you to succeed from strength to strength. I thank you for your attention.
Honorable Her Excellency Ambassador of Mexico in Ghana, professors, but this is a very important lady, a physicist who had her first degree in 1974 and then went on to get a doctorate and become a professor. But first of all, let me also mention Dr. Leticia Obeng. Dr. Obeng, can you please get up so that is. You know, Dr. Leticia Obeng was the first aquatic biologist in Ghana. Not only female woman aquatic biologists, but aquatic biologists.
Even the universe is based on science. God is the greatest scientist. Everything that we see around us is science. The earth rotating on its axis. As we sit here, I'm sure the students all know that you have the earth, which is like a sphere rotating in space. It's rotating on its axis. And if it goes round once, we get day and night. And if we know that the earth has a circumference of 40,000 kilometers at the equator. So those of us sitting down here, I don't like umbrellas. Thank you very much. Sometimes they're not too good for us. So the earth is, the circumference of the earth at the equator is 40,000 kilometers. And so as you sit here, the earth is evolving. And when it goes round once, revolves once, we get day and night. And so to do that revolution in 24 hours, the earth has to travel about 1,670
1,000 kilometers an hour. That's the speed of rotation. So as you sit here, we are rotating at that speed to get day and night, light and darkness. At the same time, it is revolving around the sun, so that we can do one revolution in a year, and it will travel at about 100,000 kilometers an hour. The sun is part of the solar system, which is also part of the Milky Way galaxy. And we are traveling in the solar system, galaxy. Our solar system is traveling at the speed of 100,000 kilometers an hour. And the whole solar system is moving in the galaxy at about 1 million kilometers an hour. And everything is so precise. The laws set that are immutable, that cannot be changed. And again, if you look at us, human beings, about 98% of the processes within us are automatic processes which you cannot change. Take it and I bite it, I swallow it into my stomach, my job is done. How it's going to be the enzyme that will come in and so on, I have no influence over that. My heartbeat, I cannot decide to let my heart beat 100 times in a minute. It's automatic. The way I breathe. And so it is good to learn about robotics and automation. So we see that if the human being runs on automation, animals, the universe, you can't live as a country without having an idea about robotics and automation. That is why it's so important. Science is so important. So science is a replication of what happens in nature, what happens in the universe. So when Dr. Adams says we should take science seriously, it's a fact. As of now, the amount that is devoted for science, research and development in Ghana is 0.25% of GDP. 0.25% of GDP. That is not even enough to pay scientists. That is why the President, Adabraka has pledged that in the short to medium term, is going to devote 1% of GDP towards research and development. And that is going to be a lot of money. And it's going to be done. But to do this, we have to lay a very good foundation. For example, so far, we don't have a national science and technology policy. And so we have prepared a national science, technology and innovation policy for Ghana. And when that is adopted, then we are going to implement what is in the policy. And all these things that Professor Adam has said will come to light. We are very serious because I know that the world economy is knowledge-based and science and technology-driven. The world economy is knowledge-based and science and technology-driven. So if we want to be part of this world, then we have to take science seriously. So if we look at energy, water supply, sanitation, education, transportation, everything is based on science and technology. And therefore, we have to be part of it. That is why I'm encouraging students to take to science, because that is the future. In fact, the past was science, the present is science, the future is going to be science. So, we are serious to adopt science. The world is driven by technology, and that is where we have to go. We have a program for it. Let me give you an example. Sometimes we tell the children to wash their hands before they eat. And so far, the hand washing has not caught on. They don't really know why they should wash their hands, because they don't see anything on their hands that will disturb them. But if we should give the schools a microscope or even a powerful magnifying glass, the children wash their hands, they put a little bit of the fluid under the microscope and they see bacteria swimming in there. They will know why they have to wash their hands. Candlelight, what is it? Light is light, but light, as you know, the students, what transmits light? When we have electronics, what is involved in electronics? electrons, isn't it? But what are the scientists? Don't be afraid. What's that? Oh, from Apostle School, isn't it? Yes. You know electronics. What is involved in electronics? Electrons, isn't it? And what about light? Photons, isn't it? Yes. So light is carried by photons. Clap for the nice applause. When we talk about electronics, we are talking about electrons. When we talk about light, we are talking about photons. Professor Adam will agree with me. So this is something that is going to be big in the future. Already, light is helping us do a lot of things. Even in our fight against galamsey, we have a very young lady, one Dr. Nadede Tego, who did photogrammetry, and she is helping us with satellite imaging and drone technology. So we are able to use satellite imagery to look at the degraded lands, the deforestation, and also look at the vegetation, agricultural lands. So we don't have to, if we have a farm, we don't have to walk through the farm to know what is happening. You can use satellite imagery or drone imagery to see problems on your farm, and then again, you can even use drones to spray your farm. This is some of the use of light. Also, you know what is happening in Kuntunsi, where we have converted the old telecommunication satellite, 32-meter telecommunication satellite, into a radio astronomy observatory. And we can use that facility to look deep into the universe, into billions of miles into the universe, to know about the birth and death of planets and how the universe behaves. And Ghanaians are there doing that, including women. So already we are using light in a different way. And that is why this day is so important, especially when we have to pay tribute to ladies who have pioneered this area of physics and science. Professor Abada, I also mentioned her name 10 times before I leave this place. This physicist, and mind you, Professor Abanda, Dr. Letitia Obin, these are two ladies. She is the current president of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences. Dr. Letitia Obin was once president of the academy. It is not a big, it's not a small thing being president of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences. Let's clap for these two ladies again. And Dr. Yan Tiamwa, good to see her, isn't it? She didn't come. All right. If you go to CSIR, the universities, you'll find powerful ladies who are into scientists. In fact, there's a ladies group in CSIR. I was once in the US, in the University of Ohio, Athens. And there I met 9 Ghanaian physicists who were in that university. We only have to look for them and let them perform. So on this day and night, what we are saying is that a time is coming when light, photons, are going to replace everything that electronics is doing, and in a better way. If we have computer whose technology is based on light, the computer is going to be faster and will be able to do big things. And I think the Department of Fiber Optics in Cape Coast will lead that way. So already in Ghana, as a minister, I can see a lot of things happening in various pockets. But what we have to do now is to bring people together and give them the resources to perform. And I know that pretty soon we'll be where we have to be. So on this note, after all the torture by the Sound people, I want to again recognize the role that Professor Lotte played in getting this museum ready, and also the role he played in setting up the Institute for Mathematics in Niasopo. Now, that institute is headed by a powerful lady, Dr. Lucy Quist, another Ghanaian lady, a scientist who operates at the highest level worldwide. And so, I think I also have to speak for the men. Gentlemen, the women are going home, so you have to catch up. I know you do, isn't it? So clap for yourself. So I want to thank UNESCO for leading this crusade in getting us to celebrate this day and to get this International Day of Light on May 16th every year. Thank the collaborators, the Mexican, my ministry, Atomic Energy, and all the Cape Coast University, and all the agencies that contributed in getting us to this place. So with these few words, and with a toaster from sound, I wish to declare the International Day of Light duly launched. Thank you.
Professor Kwaeba Rinko Boateng, Minister of Environment, Science and Technology, Mr. Kwame Song Jr., Executive Director, Ghana Museum, Monument and Monuments Board, Professor Aba Bentil Andam, President of Ghana Academy of Art and Science, head and representatives of the UNESCO office in Ghana, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished students accompanying us today. In September 2015, just some months after my arrival to Ghana, as the first ambassador of Mexico in this beautiful country, and after more than 30 years of diplomatic absence of Mexico in Ghana, I was distinguished to participate as a speaker in the regional conference of Harnessing Light and Light-Based Technologies for Africa's Development. Today, I have been again invited to participate at the official celebration of the International Day of Light in Ghana, occasion in which also we launched the opening of the Ghanaian Museum of Light that really honors me. Mexico, together with Ghana, New Zealand, and Russia Federation, were four very active delegations in the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, which played a relevant role since 2009, which allowed, with the valuable support of UNESCO, the adoption in 2013 in the United Nations resolution that proclaimed 2015 the International Year of Light and Light-Based Technologies. And today, after 3 years, we celebrate the Day of Light. Since the very beginning, Mexico has been close to Ghana in the creation of a Museum of Light. In 2015, the prestigious Mexican scientific Dr. Ana Maria Cheto, member of the International Committee of the International Year of Light and president of the Mexican Committee in the International Year of Light and director of the National Museum of Light, came to Ghana, and during her stay she shared the experience of Mexico in the creation of the Mexican Museum of Light, as well as other initiatives that have been taking place in Mexico as part of this recognition to the Year of Light. Mexico is very pleased and honored to be present today at this very important ceremony and wishes Ghana great success in its Museum of Light, and at the same time, I wish to take advantage of this opportunity to remind all the present that the Year of Light and the Day of Light have been created to recognize in this day the benefits of light as the base of our living and through the energy by bringing development to humankind and of the world, as in the era of science and technology, as well as in the field of medicine, energy, environment, agriculture, design, architecture, urbanism, astronomy, archaeology, communications, even if they are not working very well, entertainment, art, and culture, among others. Mexico wished the best success to Ghana and to UNESCO in their efforts for this occasion, very special, of the launching of the Museum of Light. Thank you very much.
I would like to congratulate Ghana for ensuring that this day actually has come to pass with the support of Mexico, New Zealand, and the Russian Federation. I want to share, there are two things that I would like to do, share just a few thoughts, and then also read the statement of the UNESCO Director General, so that you all know what's going on today globally. My own thoughts are that, light really is the basis of life. Can you imagine if there was no light? We would have no life. For those of you who have studied biology, you know that plants need light to do what? Create food or to make photosynthesis. And out of that, the byproduct is oxygen that we get to breathe. So if there were no light, plants wouldn't make their food, and human beings wouldn't get the oxygen that we need to survive. So it is very, very fitting that today, after a long effort, we are celebrating what light does in the human life, and then the technologies that it's able to help us produce and to enhance our own lives on the planet. I would just go straight into the Director General's statement. This first International Day of Light celebrates the role that light plays in the lives of the citizens of the world. Building on the successes of the International Year of Light in 2015, this global initiative will provide an annual event for the continued appreciation of light and the role that it plays in sciences, culture, and the arts, education, and sustainable development. From gamma rays to radio waves, the spectrum of light provides insights both far-ranging and near. From the origin of the universe to technologies that have shaped our society, in fields as diverse as medicine, agriculture, energy, and optics for cultural heritage protection. Light has had significant impact on the visual and performing arts, literature, and human thinking. Studying the connection between light and culture provides valuable insights into the interactions between science, art, and the humanities, and brings greater understanding and appreciation of our cultural heritage. Studying light can inspire science education among young people, and that's why I'm so happy that we have a lot of learners here, and I believe your teachers are also here. Please keep up the good work and ensure that you take up the sciences as has been said, as well as stimulating entrepreneurship. Light can also aid in achieving Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Access to light and energy infrastructure can improve quality of life in the developing world, while fiber optics connect the citizens of the world through the internet. These networks also support accountability to ensure peace, justice, and stronger legal institutions. UNESCO is therefore delighted to continue strengthening its collaboration with the international scientific community through the important theme of light. And with this new International Day on the UNESCO calendar, we now have a special opportunity to do this every year. So together, every year on May 16th, Let us light up the world. Thank you. This is a DG statement.
For Environment, Science and Technology, the Honorable Deputy Minister for Education, who left us a while ago, we are most grateful to you. The teams from UNESCO, the team from Ghana Museum and Monuments Board, Her Excellency, the Mexican Ambassador, heads of various institutions and volunteers, the President of the Ghana Academy of Arts, Dr. Abba Andam, Dr. Letitia Oben, and Professor Alote, who is not here today with us. We want to thank you very much for all you have done for the celebration of the International Day of Light. Today we have formally marked the International Day of Light, an event which must contribute to building new bridges between the scientific disciplines, education and the arts, and respond positively to improving dialogue between citizens, scientists, decision makers and industry. We at the Ministry of Tourism and Culture, through its agency, the Ghana Museum and Monuments Board, are ready with our doors open and with the right policies in place to support and encourage community-driven actions in science outreach and education. So it is our view that these initiatives would meet the expectations of Dr. Abba Andam. It is our view that, and it is our objective, that we will put our facilities into a lot of use. The Ghana Museums and Monuments Board is blessed with enormous infrastructure facilities throughout the country. Unfortunately, these facilities have not been put to good use over a long period of time. These facilities are rather deteriorating instead of being put into good use. It is the view of this board, and we are working on it to make sure that these facilities are properly utilized to bring value to the people of Ghana. Just recently, we toured all our forts and castles throughout the country. And it is our objective that within the shortest possible time, we'll put these facilities to the best use for the people of Ghana. The Museum of Science and Technology, which is the beautiful building right here, hosting this event, is a motion of cooperation in the basic sciences and STME education, and will contribute to achieving the objective of rendering science and technology and innovation accessible to all through exhibitions all year round. Because we do not want to see our facilities empty with no events but cobwebs and dust. We want to see our facilities engaged and in use all year round for events of this nature. And so we are working on a special calendar together with the science community, the technology community, and various industries and persons who are interested in partnering us to make sure that these facilities are properly utilized. As we wrap up for the formal portion of this program, may I use the opportunity to invite the general public, especially students, to make time to pass through the Museum of Science and Technology to have an exceptional experience of the exhibition of light and light-based technologies. On behalf of the Honorable Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture, we truly appreciate the time and energy you have put into the planning, executing, and attending this event. Thank you very much.
The podium to express the gratitude of the planning committee to all of you for turning out your numbers to share with us in this wonderful day of light. But Mr. Chairman, I would like to first express the gratitude of the planning committee to God, because when we were planning, we were not sure what was going to happen today in terms of the weather conditions. But as you can all attest to it, we have had a very wonderful fair day. So we thank God very much for giving us light. As you know, He is the source of light. He is the Ewiatokoko. He is the supreme light. And He is the source of life, which has been possible for us to be here today to observe this wonderful day. I would also like to thank especially the school children for coming, for responding to our invitation to participate in this worldwide celebration. We are also grateful to the schools who arranged for the kids to be brought here. We are also very grateful to the various invited guests who managed to come. There are so many people I would like to thank, but because of the problems we've had in the PA system, I want to shorten it by first thanking the UNESCO for granting us the assistance to launch the work associated with this Museum of Light and Light-Based Technologies. So now please extend our appreciation to UNESCO for the support we have received. We are also very grateful to the Ministry of Education and the chairman of the National Commission for UNESCO for granting us, the planning committee, the opportunity to organize this event. There are also a number of people who have made very kind donations in terms of the collections we have had for the exhibition. We can't single all of them out, but I want to say thank you very much for your readiness to support us in doing the collections to make the exhibition a reality. Before I end, I would like to express my personal and special appreciation and gratitude to the Minister for Environment, Science, Science, Technology and Innovation for the wonderful words he informally shared with us, especially for the school kids. Thank you very much, Mr. Minister.
So we jointly declare the Museum Light duly open. Thank you. Up.
have magnified the light in it. You can see that the filament is curved down, but now it is inverted. So as you move an object from a distance, or when you move it from just the erect image, but then as you move it from a distance closer to the lens, then the image becomes inverted. Yeah. So as you go rather closer to it, because the principle is that we are supposed to use it to focus something and an object far away from it. That is the use of a telescope. Thank you. Now you move it closer to us. It is a chance. But magnified.
It's a prototype planetarium. It's just to show how the planetarium is and how the inside of the planetarium is. The planetarium has some seats inside, and people sit to view space and observe all the planets and the stars in the night sky. But the planetarium, we show audiovisuals inside the planetarium. So it has a very special projector in the middle, just like the lamp is doing. But that doesn't rotate actually, but it gives you the feel like you're in space actually. Once you're inside, it gives you the feel like you're in space. And you can see all the planets and all space rocks.
new board. We were inaugurated some 6 months ago, and there are a number of new policies that we are looking at in support, actually with the support of the Ministry of Tourism. One of them which I mentioned is the new collection policy that would see us collect items from individuals. We have a lot of illustrious families and citizens of Ghana who would like to have their items properly stored and curated in museums. But sometimes these families, either alive or dead, would not have these items properly collected, preserved, and exhibited for the public. And so sometimes unscrupulous family members will steal some of these items and thereby denying the country and the citizens the opportunity to learn from some of these items. We have a number of people, several illustrious Ghanaians, D.K. Poison, Azuma Nelson, the owner of Seconds, Mr. Bamfo, Osei Kwame Despite, Yahoo Clinic, many of them who have excellent stories, items that we can collect and exhibit in our museum. And so the essence of this policy is to collect private items, not only from individuals, but also from organizations. And so the stories of Mechanical Lloyd, Tropical Cable owned by the Sultan JC, Apostle Kujo Safo, we can collect items from their companies and exhibit them in our museums for the youth to learn from. Now the other policy is also to create a certain international space for countries that have diplomatic relationship with Ghana. And so I mentioned Germany, for instance. They are known to manufacture very durable items from excellent technology. So the idea is that we collaborate with these countries which have missions here in Ghana, and then we offer them spaces where they can exhibit Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Porsche, Heidelberg printers, and all kinds of technologies that we can learn from. So that the child from Chebi or the child from Achimasene or the child from Zuarungu can visit a museum, visit the Germany stand or the British stand for that matter, and take a look at how the Bombardier aircrafts are made and the story around Bombardier aircraft and so on and so forth. So these are the two policies that we are thinking of that we'll be rolling out very soon. Challenges with our infrastructure, but the good thing is that this government recognizes the importance of museums. And so through the ministry, the new board is extremely desirous of elevating and taking museum out of where it has been over the years. On a day-to-day basis, we are having interaction with all the stakeholders to make sure that the numerous assets of our museums and monuments across the country are properly optimized for the benefit of this country. We cannot continue to accept financial inputs from the government, and let me put it this way, about 6 million cedis is paid annually to our staff. And for that matter, a certain appropriate dividend must come out of these museums. And for those dividends to come out, the policies that I've just mentioned are some of the things that would move us from merely consuming salaries to bringing value and some amount of reward to the people of Ghana.
Well, today is the launch of the museum. We invited a few schools. Moving on, we have a very good strategy to ensure that this place is in use. It is targeted at students in high school, in primary school. So what we have done is that through the Ghana Education Service, we have invited all schools. It is free to enter as a student, and they would be coming, they will be holding excursions here. We have also ensured that there are science educators here to explain to the students what is going on. It's not so that it's not just a day out, but it will be a learning experience. So that is what we are doing at the moment. I'm from the National Commission for UNESCO, and we came in with the funding part and the putting together the whole planning of the museum. The Ghana Museums and Monuments Board and the Ghana Academy of Science and Arts and Sciences are also doing their part to ensure that people know. We are hoping that through avenues such as this, you put it in the paper, people will read, they would know, on radio, on TV, and from then, students will come in. The museums will also let everybody know. And so we are making sure that it will not just be a building that is empty, that as many as possible can come in and benefit from it. Again, the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board have been better placed to answer the question. What I can tell you is that this is a start. Like you said, there used to be squatters. There are no squatters anymore. There is security here. The building is being cleaned up. And so the ministries of education, science and technology, and culture are coming together to look at the best way to ensure that the
the building is put to good use, and like you said, it is respected. So I see this museum as the beginning, so it can only get better after.